Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Friday pitch competition with TechRise. My name is Stephen Shaw. I'm the Community Engagement Director at Verizon, also proud co-founder of TechRise. It's my pleasure to sit here in the big seat hosting this week's competition for my friend, my fellow TechRise co-founder, and our Executive Director, Desiree Vargas Wrigley. So for those of you who have been with us before, always thank you for your support. Thanks for coming back. For those who are unfamiliar, TechRise is an initiative done in collaboration with P33 and Verizon, and is meant to support our tech founders of color and our women tech founders, particularly those at the early stage. Now, what do we provide founders? We provide them with the capital, with the networks, and the knowledge they need to really grow and advance their innovations. Now, this is season 3. So over the past 2.5 years, we've had over 265 founders grace the TechRise stage in our pitch competitions. To show the impact of all of these founders, I want to make sure I get this number right, these founders have raised cumulatively $67.4 million in follow-on funding. So we believe we're having a wonderful impact here in the Chicagoland area with our founders of color and our women founders. Now, every week we do this for about 6 months out of the year. And for each pitch competition, 3 to 5 founders grace the stage, and the winner can walk away with anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 of non-dilutive funding. So this is always the highlight of my weeks. And so we're excited to bring 5 fantastic founders to you today. Now, we can't have a pitch competition without judges. Now, every week we have active investors, whether it be angels, VCs, to judge our competition. And we have another all-star lineup this week. So I'd like to introduce our judges to you. First, before we introduce our judges, I would be remiss if I didn't thank our sponsor and our partner for today's competition, Origin. Origins, you've been with us before, so thank you for your continued support and partnership. So now that we got that very important piece at commercial out of the way, now let's talk about our judges for the day. So our first judge I would like to bring to the stage is Christopher Deutsch. Now, Chris has spent over 25 years, not only starting, working in, and investing in early stage venture-backed companies. Chris is currently a refounder, and you can ask him about what that means, but he is a refounder of Y Combinator-backed T-Bot. So not only is Chris working within T-Bot, he is also the founder of Lofty Ventures, which is the premier, I'm a little biased, I'll tell you why, angel network here in the Chicagoland area. Chris has been a wonderful supporter of TechRise from the very beginning. And this year, I have the pleasure of partnering with Chris, aside from TechRise, to do some of this support of our founders with seminars and things like that. So, Chris, buddy, it's always good to see you. Thanks for coming back on the stage with us. Our next founder today I'd like to bring to the stage is Jeannie Sua. Jeannie is a go-giving entrepreneur and sociolinguist turned techie. Wonderful background. Born to Jamaican parents, she prides herself on being a global citizen who speaks 3 languages, dances salsa and samba, and shared meals with strangers in nearly 30 countries. Wow, what a background. Known as a super connector, she lives by the credo, always give more in value than you receive in payment. She's a relationship builder and on a personal mission to increase access to capital for underestimated founders by helping to demystify what we call venture capital. Jenny, thank you so much for joining us today. And then finally, we have our last but certainly not least, Kyla Kavanaugh. Now, Kyla is an investor at Afford Capital, which is based in San Francisco, where she invests in pre-seed tech startups from all over the world. Kyla is a graduate of that wonderful institution in St. Louis, WashU, where she received her degree in economics and strategy, as well as computer science. Now, before her time at Afford, She was an associate at Grand Ventures in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So, Kyla, thank you for joining us on the TechRise stage today. So, with that, we would like to bring our first founder to the stage. And so, just to give you just to provide some ground rules, here's how the competition will work. Each founder will pitch for 4 minutes. Then there will be 4 minutes of Q&A from our judges. We'll do that 5 times. And then we'll have a usually very hard decision to select who our winner is for the competition. So now I would like to bring our first founder to the stage. That is Michael Amir. Come to the stage. I will let you know when we can see your screen.
All right.
All right, we can see your screen and you can start when you're ready.
All right, I'm gonna look for the timer. Who has the timer? Oh, there it is. I see it. All right. Everyone, I'm Michael Amir, and I am the co-founder CEO of Oasis Investment Group. Let's get into it. Chicago, we're headquartered in Chicago. And the fact that Chicago has over 50,000 vacant and dilapidated properties, according to Cook County Treasurer, is a big issue. And most of these properties are in Black and brown and underserved areas. But the issue and solution isn't to complain to politicians. The solution is for everyone to come together and invest in fixing the neighborhood, which is why Oasis, we focus our real estate power on underserved areas, specifically the South Side of Chicago. We are the only active Black-owned, SEC certified Regulation A Tier 2 fund, which pretty much means we can accept funding from the general public. And we do that. It's very simple. The public can invest. We raise capital, buy real estate, rebuild communities. It's that simple. Our product is live in the App Store, Google Play Store. You can invest in little as 5 minutes. Now, we focus on those from the community. It's a big market. There's 15 million Black Americans under 40. 68% of them are investing. It is a growing market. The total market size, 15 million. Serviceable market, 18 to 40 active investors. So we want to get a portion of these active investors. Well, why and how do we do that? Through prop tech. Prop tech is growing. Americans are investing. It's an investing boom happening right now. And 17% of all new investors are Black Americans. Well, how do we capture this? How do we go to market? For us, we're not going to start from scratch. It's strategic partnerships. There's Earn Your Leisure, who has 3 million followers on their platform. We partner with them. Our show's on there. We have a show every week. This is a picture of it. It got 8,000 views, 100,000 views, 8,000 likes. Revolt, they have a big platform. They've seen our work and did a short film on us and submitted to Sundance. That's debuting next week. So strategic partnerships. And because of that, we have caught a lot of traction. We opened the fund to see, is this really going to work? And in 1 month, we raised $1 million. We purchased the building you see, a 34 unit to your right. And we have a list of over 25,000 people who are interested and ready to invest. It is a demand for what we're doing. And we're not the only ones. A lot of prop tech companies are taking advantage of this Regulation A funding. Jeff Bezos backed Derived Homes, Fundrise. These are all venture-backed capital funds. However, none of them are focused on underserved communities, only individual and boutique investment groups. We have a lane unto ourselves. So we want to capture a small percentage of the active market, aim for about 50,000 investors, raise up to 75 million. And with the million with no marketing, we believe we can do it. We have a great founding team, myself, my business partner, Fahim, and our general counsel, Vivian Lee, who founded this from the beginning. Why us? This is what we do. I do real estate. I'm a businessman. I started real estate a few years ago. And in 3 years, my partner and I took 40,000. And now we have 70 units on the South Side, over 100 tenants, 10 million in real estate, and a 6-figure cash flow. Our system is the Bird method. We buy, we renovate, we rent, we refinance, we repeat. And that's how we've been able to build our portfolio. And we will continue that for this fund. If we are blessed to raise, to get this capital, all the funds, we've been bootstrapping it. We never had any investment. So we will take the investment. As I mentioned, we have an app in the App and Google Play Store currently right now, but we would bring it to our tech team to enhance it. We'll hire the tech guys again to take it to the next level because people want this, but we want to do it right. So we're excited. We can fix our communities together if everyone gets involved, take investment and advantage of this investment time and invest in our own communities. Thank you.
All right, Michael, right at the buzzer. Very nicely done. All right, if our judges will come on the screen, we will start our Q&A. We'll go around the horn. Chris, since you're returning champion, I'll ask you to ask the first question.
Yes, could you get a little bit more into the detail on your teammates, on why they're the right people to solve this problem?
Perfect. Yes. So my business partner, Fahim Mohammed, we founded this together. I'm the chief investment officer. I'm the CEO. He's the CIO. And together, with our business plan, we were able to take $40,000 and build, a $10 million real estate portfolio in South Chicago. We worked great together. We've been business partners for 15 years. We're like family. And then our other co-founder, Vivian Lee, she's been our general counsel from the beginning. You have to navigate everything from being SEC compliant to deals, to real estate deals, to dealing with lenders. And she helps us navigate through all that. So together as a team, we're a great foundation to be able to expound and scale as a company. And, and we have great working chemistry, and it's a great team.
All right, Jeannie. Next question.
Yes, great job. I have the main question is if you could walk us through from whom you raised that $1 million to kind of validate your business model. And then if you could walk us through, once you got that $1 million, the economics of what your investors are expected to get when it comes to their returns, and just kind of walk us more through the how to.
Definitely.
That would be really helpful.
Definitely. This project was done word of mouth. We did an event in the south side of Chicago. 2,000 people came out on a Monday to hear about what we was doing, sponsored by Revolt. And once the word got out, we told the word, hey, we're going to buy this building. Who wants to invest? Because we are a SEC certified fund. Everyone has to be AML, KYC, know your customer, anti-money laundering. We go through the process, but it's people from the community. And we raised $1 million from people from the community. We only accepted 100 people because we wanted to test the software, test the app. But it's people who live right around the corner who invested 5,000, 10,000, 1,000 who come and check on it. It's in construction as we speak. But then to purchase the process, we bought it cash. It was $950,000. And the returns. So we're offering with this property a 10% preferred return. So it's also part of the education for the investors. They're understanding what it takes. It takes 2 to 3 years. But right now we're looking to be finished in March of next year and, begin that process of distributions and everything. But that's how we did this process. But we had an offering circular. We had classes to educate the public about how investing works, the risks. We have to, of course, follow all laws.
Thank you. I want to cut you off just so we can get a question from Kyla.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would love to learn a little bit more as you think ahead to expanding inventory on the app. What goes into that process of selecting and identifying properties that you think would be a good fit for your investors?
Yeah, so we're very hands-on because we're in Chicago. We pick properties that have an easy turnaround. So when I mentioned in the beginning, dilapidated properties, but properties that are on a street that is not vacant, maybe one property, we fix it up, and that will go on the app as far as letting people know what they've invested in, the progress of the app. And these are things we have to build out. Right now, it's very general, but we will build out all these specifics as far as being able to see your property, where it's at, and when returns come in. We didn't invent the wheel. There's some companies that do it very great, and we want to just follow suit and keep up to the standard.
All right. Michael, do you have 10 seconds of closing words for us?
I appreciate this opportunity. We've been bootstrapping it the whole time, so to get anything will be a definite blessing and help. But thank you for the opportunity to be able to share it with you.
But thank you, Michael. Thank you. And if our judges will go off screen, we will bring our next founder to the stage. That founder is Amanda Gettis. So Amanda, please come.
Give me 1 second. Everyone see my screen okay?
All right, we can see your screen. We can see you. And so I am going to go off camera and you can, you're ready.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi, my name is Amanda Geddes, and I'm the founder of AwareX.io. We help CPG brands become aware of what practices they are already doing around sustainability and offer recommendations that are material to them. Why is this important? Communicating existing sustainable practices to the consumer is critical to building trust and loyalty. The business is probably already doing great work in some of the areas because sustainable business practices are becoming mainstream and the majority of consumers expect it. It is not limited to niche audiences. So what's the problem? 3 letters, ESG. We have pivoted from our first hypothesis of automating sustainability-linked financing, which uses ESG metrics in the term sheet. This month alone, $4.8 billion in this type of financing was done. However, it's at huge amounts and not accessible to the average business. That's the problem with ESG. It's polarizing, confusing, and difficult to know where to start. Through massive customer discovery, we found that most financial institutions and investors are not interested until it becomes mandatory. We identified the consumer as the main driver for business transparency. 86% of Americans want to see that in their purchases, and they use their dollars to prove it. A study by McKinsey showed that products making ESG-related claims outperformed products without them by 2 to 8.5%. The majority of products were in the food and grocery category, so that will be our go-to-market strategy. It's clear. Consumers want to know that the products they are buying are socially responsible, and it's easier than you think. We have a proprietary matrix that takes the company through a short, true-false assessment that focuses on their industry and what ESG factors they should be considering. If they are doing it, great. Tell your customer that. And if you're not, take our recommendations and have a place to start. The magic of the product is that the user isn't overwhelmed by specific data intake questions, but can see what areas overall to focus on and create a holistic strategy around what's important to them. We put sustainable accounting standards and adverse sustainability indicators into a less than 25 question assessment. This sets the business up for success once regulations do come down the pipe, which I assure you they will. And even better, we can use this technology for financing and investor due diligence once there is product market fit. We need this funding to help us get to our next milestone, which is users and data. Once we finalize our MVP, companies will receive automatic recommendations and we will build a pipeline of future customers. The business model looks like a freemium marketing tool for brands looking to get an edge over their competitors. Once we can show the company the value of knowing this information, we will roll out phase 2 for a paid subscription that notifies consumers of those practices upon purchase. Currently, our process is manual and we are about 50% done with a working prototype. Our team is an amazing group of women who have backgrounds in finance, sustainability, research, and strategy. I met so many entrepreneurs during my time as the Dean of Urban Agriculture, and the barriers to entry are real. It's our mission that using this software will level the playing field for any business owner to strengthen their business practices, access capital, and increase profits. ESG is here to stay. It just needs to be rebranded as the new mainstream. Thank you, and looking forward to your questions.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. Now, if our judges will come back on the screen, we'll start this round of questioning. We'll start this time with Jeannie.
Hi, Amanda. Thanks. So great job. The problem solution fit still isn't very clear to me. If you could just like reiterate what the core problem is and then how it impacts the industry at scale from an economic standpoint, that would be really helpful.
ESG. Once you say that, people's reactions can be very volatile. And so really it's become political, and it really is all it is efficient business practices. And so where the market fit is that this is a leaning hypothesis that ESG metrics will be part of funding, will be part of foundations, will be part of any type of loan that you're going to get and investment. And so we want to build a product that can show businesses why it's so important that they can focus on these metrics. Not only can they get these financing down the line, but their consumers want it. And so the greenwashing is real. And if they are doing the simple things that are material to their industry, they can be confident that what they tell their customers is true.
Thank you. Kyla.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe you could walk us through an example with maybe a brand that you've worked with in the past as a result of taking this assessment. What sort of insights kind of surfaced as a result of completing the assessment? And then how did that translate into like an actionable change for the brand?
Sure. No, thank you so much. So we had a brand called Arbogast Foods. They took the survey. The highlights of it was veteran owned. They were diverse in their ownership, and they had a great health and safety program. So they created cheese. That was their product. They were an agriculture product, and they made cheese. But where they were lacking was they didn't have recyclable packaging, and they didn't have a great audit structure for their suppliers. And so that's what we identified for them, that if they focused on those two options, it would not only strengthen their business practices, but introduce them to a brand new customer that would be interested in sustainable packaging. And so, yes.
Chris.
Actually, same question from before. Can you tell us more about your team and why they're the right ones to solve this problem?
Sure. Thank you for asking. Annie is my research analyst. She is amazing. She's been working with me for months. She made resource guide. She has a background in mortgage lending. And so she is very much into data and telling stories with that data. Carrie is an amazing financial analyst that has been in the investment banking world. And I have worked with her for several years. And then Talia is our environmental lead, who owns her own consulting company and helped create the matrix in the beginning to ensure that our environmental footprint was up to regulations.
Well, we have a minute, so if the judge has a follow-up question, we have time. And if there's no follow-up question, Amanda, you have 45 seconds for a closing statement.
I have a quick follow-up question, actually.
Sure.
So what, just kind of, again, relating to the problem solution, would you say that this is more like a feature nice to have, or is it a necessity that's like filling the demand right now? Or is it more so like building for the anticipation?
That's a great question. And that is why we've had trouble with traction. So that was going to be my closing statement, was that we are very much in the beginning stages as far as this product development fit. We see the future, but we may be a little early. So that's the reason why we went straight to the consumer. The consumer has power with their purchasing. And so while we can offer this as like a freemium model, then we can show the business why it's important for their consumer, because the consumer does want to see that. So it's a nice to have, but it's also becoming pretty mandatory to be competitive. So if you want to be a business that has,
I gave you a few seconds over. So
sorry, thank you.
But appreciate the closing statement. Good job. Judges, we're going to go off screen while we bring our next founder on, Mia Umanos, CEO of Clickvoyant. So screen.
Okay, excellent. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you well.
Okay, fantastic. Let me just get to full screen here. You guys don't need to see my bookmarks. Howdy.
All right. you're ready to go. When you're ready, you can go.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, investors. You know, you love a data-driven business, but what does that even mean? There is a multi-billion-dollar industry of analytics tools out there that use words like measure and attribute in their marketing materials. You know what that says to me? Prove it. Prove yourself. The word data has a Latin root that means to give. Our customers are giving us this gift of their behavior, and what does the industry do with it? Measure ourselves in a dashboard. You get rich details about your customer experience from this kind of thing. I was a director of analytics for 15 years for brands like Intel, Nissan, Salesforce, and I built hundreds of these. And you know who looked at them? No one. There is a $200 billion gap in talent, a growing amount of data, and a growing need to know what is happening. And the best we got are dashboards, please. Because of this, the story of your customers goes untold. I'm Mia, CEO of Clickvoyant, and we're doing things different. Our AI automates research to uncover in anthropologic detail why customers do and don't buy from you. You tell us the customer behavior you're trying to improve, and we run hundreds of statistical models to learn about that conversion rate. Each insight is ranked by the revenue opportunity. It includes recommendations on where you might improve, and it segments the audience to inspire personalization techniques. Automated research in a sea of data. And in the end, she delivers a slide presentation full of insights to help you tell the story of customer behavior without spending hours on deck building. The speaker notes have a script that includes revenue potential and the methodology for how you got those numbers, which increases the data literacy of our users and makes them better data storytellers. What used to take 2 analysts 1 week, it now takes 1 smart marketer 20 minutes. An example of this in the wild, I took a giant pay cut to work for independent media in the Philippines. I packed up my family, I moved to the mother country, and I put Clickvoyant to work on a media site with 30 million visits a month, all to support a woman who stood alone when she stood up to a dictator. With these insights, we drove a 40% increase in revenue. We won a Google News Initiative grant, and in 2021, that woman won the Nobel Peace Prize. What would the world look like if every leader had access to an AI like Clickvoyant, one that eliminates the data noise and distills it down to the most meaningful things to know about your customer? Clickvoyant is that once-in-a-lifetime great analyst that ignites your creativity. The e-commerce manager of Hoka Running Shoes calls it Clickvoyant her mission control. Now, our software begins at $500 a month, which pales in comparison to $10,000 a month in salary. Right now, we are transitioning from a product-led startup to a sales-led startup. We got Joe Rizzo, who multiple times has taken a company 0 to 1 million, and Vember Connor, former killer hunter for Salesforce and Pendo.io. With this team, we're poised to reach profitability by January 2024. Our go-to-market strategies are rooted in education because everyone is kicking tires on AI right now, not quite knowing where to start. So we're hosting weekly trainings on how to incorporate it into everyday marketing decisions. And this has generated interest from other brands like Third Love, Vegamore, and VShred, companies who are empathetic to their customer experience. Now, we closed a $1 million round in October 2022, most of which was female-led capital. And as you could imagine, a lot of it is gone. And the money we win from this competition, we will go directly to fund marketing strategies to get more leads into this killer sales team. So we're not building the engine anymore, we're fueling it. We appreciate you picking up this gas tab. Thank you. I'll take any questions you have now.
Nice job, Mia. All right, the judges are, oh, Mia, if you can close your screen share so we can have you and all our judges in full, there we go. All right.
All right.
We will start this round with Kyla.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could talk to me about, so once the software starts ingesting those insights from Google Analytics, what are some of the key metrics that you're looking to pick up from that user's Google Analytics platform? And then talk a little bit about the types of insights that maybe they're seeing on the Clickvoyant dashboard that they would not be able to get just from the analytics alone.
Sure. Well, one quick clarification, it's not a dashboard, it's actually statistical research automated. And so a dashboard is the same information every time. Clickvoyant is actually research in a presentation format. And what the typical things that we look for are not just KPIs, which people say are key performance indicators. We're not measuring performance, we're researching behavior. And so we're looking at things like swipes, clicks, filters, size filters, swatches. And those are the types of things that customers find. So, for example, a company discovered that while their primary product was focused on people aged 25 to 34, their actual buyer, the people who were spending the most money, were people aged 55 to 65. And they were spending actually $2 more per session than the other audience. And so, as a result, that company shifted some of their marketing strategy and content to the older audience, increasing their revenue 30%.
Chris.
Yes, you said you're transitioning from a product to a sales structure for the organization. Could you get into more detail on that? And do you have any unfair advantages around your sales?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we have unfair advantages in both analytics and in sales. Like, I have 15 years as a director of analytics working at big agencies, so I know what the questions are in the marketers' minds. This is why in the demos, like, you hit the pain points, you hit it hard, and people are like, that's amazing. The second thing about Joe in particular, he actually ran agencies, sold to agencies, and knows the pain points of, he knows exactly how to position a product to sell particularly to agencies. And agencies now are not our primary customer, but our force multiplier as a partner. Every agency comes with about 3 to 5 initial customers that they put onto Clickvoyant, for which we revenue share. And so those are the things that we have, like, deep understanding of this market, talking to marketing. We understand their concerns. We understand the agency's requirement to deliver the dashboards, but their customers not willing to necessarily increase retainers. And so speaking on those 2 pain points is helping us to get our conversion rates up and up.
Janie.
Yeah, so kind of similar to Chris's question on the go-to-market side, well, now like kind of going into that growth side, what are some of the strategies like within the sales channel are you guys considering? And then, because it seems like your customers love your product, have you considered leveraging some elements of like community-led growth as part of that strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. So the agencies are part of that strategy because there is a particular type of agency though. So when we're talking about agencies and the ones that I come from, I'm not talking about them. Like, they're already big, they're doing their thing, they want to hire people, they want to get all the analytics talent. Good for them. What these agencies are smaller, 3, 10, 15 shop people, and there are 55,000 of them. And they need these resources. And so that is part of the go-to-market strategy, is to educate them on how to sell analytics, how to provide analytics in the style that the Omnicoms, the JWTs do it. And that's where they're finding a lot of the value in the community partnership and adding more people onto Clickvoyant at $500 a pop. That's a steal. That's a steal compared to salary. And not that they would get access to the talent pool anyway, because it's so small. And so right now we know that our cost to get people to the class is, 50 cents per landing page. And we are getting about an 8% conversion on the actual class. Now, if we can convert the 5% that we think we can, that's actually $400 renders $12,000. So those are the metrics that we're trying to push on right now.
All right. Good. Good job, Mia. Thank you. Thank you, judges. So now I'd like to bring our next founder to the stage, and that would be Shima Rayej. Shima, welcome.
You're great. Thank you. I'm sharing my screen.
Right. All right, we can see you and your screen. Are you in presentation? There we go. All right, you're in presentation mode, and we're ready when you are.
Okay, wonderful. Hello, everyone. My name is Shima Rayej, and today I'll be speaking with you about my company, SafeRate. 2023 has been a very difficult year for America's 100 million aspiring home buyers. Mortgage rates have quadrupled to over 8%, and it now takes nearly a decade to save for a down payment. For many of these buyers, their road to homeownership has hit a dead end. Their two biggest barriers, getting a low-cost mortgage and saving for a down payment. SafeRate is a social lending platform that harnesses the power of community to lower rates for home buyers and accelerate the path to home ownership. Mortgage lending is a social process, with 49% of home buyers referred by a real estate agent, housing counselor, or a previous buyer. SafeRate's network captures these zero-fee referral-based leads and passes on the savings to home buyers through lower rates, with the average home buyer saving over $30,000 over the life of the loan. On SafeRate, real estate agents and housing counselors build their brand, nurture their leads, and support clients. They create profiles that can be discovered by SafeRate's home buyers, refer leads to see their readiness for a home loan, and help them overcome credit score and down payment gaps. Agents are instantly notified when a client is pre-approved for a loan and can track their progress from purchase contract to close. Our home buyers can chat with a live mortgage originator, find a real estate agent or invite theirs to earn rewards, and improve their credit score with our integration with Equifax's virtual credit score coach. All home buyers complete their entire mortgage process on SafeRate. Now, we're also excited to announce that in October, we're partnering with Freddie Mac, Hedera Hashgraph, and Aberdeen Investments to launch SafeRate Invest, a down payment savings program where home buyers earn 10 times higher returns than a traditional savings account by directly investing into money market funds and mortgage loans on SafeRate. Our consumer-centered approach makes us stand out from other lenders. We help agents convert more leads, support home buyers from pre-purchase to close, and save our buyers money. Other lenders pay an average of $2,000 per closed loan for leads and charge the cost back to home buyers. They lack the support for buyers who are not yet ready and for important partners like agents and counselors. Now, our model is working. Our lower rates save home buyers an average of $30,000 over the life of their loan versus the nation's biggest lender. We close loans 2 times faster with agents in our network, and our conversion rate from first contact to closed loan is 80% versus 20%. We've originated $10 million in loans with our beta network of 6 agents and 3 housing counselors and have saved our buyers over $500,000 in interest payments. We receive 1.5% of the loan amount for each closed loan as the lender on the transaction. Now we want to grow from 10 million to 100 million in originations over the next year. Our path to growth includes increasing the number of agents on our network and launching SafeRate Invest to capture buyers even earlier in the process. If awarded the $25,000 prize, we'll invest it for the successful kickoff of SafeRate Invest. With a sign-up campaign where 25 first-time home buyers will be randomly selected to win $1,000 towards their down payment. So my co-founder Dylan and I met at the University of Chicago after the Great Recession. We bonded over housing finance reform and launched a new mortgage product that automatically reduced borrowers' monthly payments in times of distress. We became a lender, originated loans, and received our work was featured in The Economist, Bloomberg, and the Financial Times. Now, SafeRate is the evolution of a product into a platform. It's the recognition that with a community-centered approach to lending, we can save buyers money and improve their experience at the same time. So I hope you'll join us in helping the next 100 million Americans achieve their dream of homeownership on SafeRate. Thank you for listening, and you can learn more by visiting us at saferate.com.
All right. All right. So Shima, if you will disengage the screen share, wonderful. And we'll ask our judges to come back on the stage. And we'll start this round with, well, you know what, Jeannie, you're on. So we'll start this round with you, Jeannie.
Awesome. Great job. Super interesting product. Question on the revenue side. So if I understood correctly, you guys basically you take a transaction fee of 1.5%. Am I correct in understanding that? Or if not, could you explain a little better?
Yeah, so we're the lender on every transaction. So we originate the loans, and we have what's called the correspondent lender relationship with United Wholesale Mortgage. So we originate the loans and sell it to United Wholesale Mortgage. And we get 1.5% in revenue for selling the mortgage to the buyer.
Got it.
Chris.
Why this problem?
Yeah, so both me and my co-founder, we kind of came of age during the time of the Great Recession. So I actually was a robotics engineer, and then the Great Recession happened. I saw the devastation that was happening all over the country in terms of foreclosures and homeowners not being educated enough, not having the tools. So I actually switched paths from robotics to finance. So I wanted to work at Deutsche Bank's Big Short desk, residential mortgage securitization desk, and I did. And so I saw a lot of what was happening post-crisis on the capital market side. And I didn't think it was still borrower friendly enough in terms of the ideas that were coming up, the technology, and the way that the mortgage market was being handled, even with the new regulations. So I really have a passion for helping home buyers succeed in a market that a lot of times is just trying to sell to them. And I really think it's important to support them instead of just seeing them as a transaction.
Tyler?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit on the experience overall for someone who's going through this process, applying for the loan, et cetera. What is it about this experience in terms of maybe feedback that you're hearing that's really standing out to them as like this is a superior product versus some of the other digital mortgage platforms that they've come across? And why do they keep coming back to you for future purchases?
Absolutely. So we have to think about it from 3 different angles. So from the buyer side, it's, a lot of times they don't have the support that's needed. There's some information on different sites, but those can be outdated. The rates can be old, or, they're not accurate rates. And so just the ability for them to have we call the mortgage coffee chat with us. So it's a 15-minute video call to help them answer the questions that, is in their head and they can't do from all the rabbit hole searching that they're doing. So that is actually one of the ways that we have been able to convert buyers at a high rate. Our application process is seamless. It takes only 18 minutes to complete the application, and our close time is very fast just because of our ability to have the collaboration tools with the real estate agents, which doesn't happen for a lot of lenders because they're not integrated with the real estate agents. And so we create a very simple application and closing process for buyers, but also real estate agents as well, which helps the agents, want to come back and work with us some more. We've heard the other thing, so the real estate agent side is agents are really frustrated with giving leads to lenders, but not having any leads come back to them. And so the real estate agents on our platform say, well, if you're able to give me a lead, I will send all my clients to you, especially if you have lower rates than the competitors. And that's part of what SafeRate Invest and these other support tools are able to provide for agents, is the ability for them to get leads and not for it to just be a one-way transaction.
All right. Wonderful timing. Shima and judges, thank you all. And now we will bring our final competitor on the stage today, and that is Mr. Terrance Bey with SonicMessenger. Shima, if you will go off camera. All right, Terrance, we see your screen, we see you, and you can begin.
Excellent, excellent. So let me tell you a little secret about me. I'm a big property rehab show nut. Think HGTV. You buy a home, tear it apart, put it together. Many times I've watched shows, see something that I want to know more about, but I can't immediately figure out how to search for it. And I'm not alone. 83% of consumers reported seeing a product that was advertised on TV or streaming platforms and not being able to find it when searching online. So now we have this perfect storm of urgency, with 65% of consumers likely to purchase a product they want if they had a clickable link, with brands wanting to engage more to drive consumers to the bottom of the e-commerce funnel, and with streaming platforms wanting to develop ways to engage audience to drive additional ad revenue. The challenge to solve: businesses connecting the audience to content in real time and instantly driving engagement. The solution: SonicMessenger, a B2B platform that enables businesses to connect their audience with content the minute that they see or hear it using what we like to call silent sound. This content can be on TV, radio, or at an event. Brands integrate the Sonic SDK into their mobile app, giving them sonic ears. They use our portal to create an inaudible campaign, embed those into content, and then amplify that content across various media channels. The Sonic platform verifies the delivery of the campaigns and audience engagement. Brands then have access to data via our Sonic console or APIs. The competitor landscape is broken up into 3 groups. QR codes, which require an immediate call to action, and frankly, it doesn't work on radio. The major digital media companies who are really only addressing digital and streaming video, and most likely they'll have proprietary technology. And then the software companies who, as of this point, major focus has only been on digital video platforms and Vision AI. Our differentiator is the landed, non-interruptive experience that works across digital platforms, traditional TV, and radio. Our primary customer acquisition approach has been our extensive network and through major conferences and events. We are focused on our POV stage, and to date, we've done a lot of work. We did our initial alpha testing in Kenya, where we had a little under 3 million people with access to the platform. We were a Future of Tech exhibitor at NAB 2023. We have progressed our POV discussions with a Chicago-based Fortune 100 company, a Chicago-based network organization, a large South American retailer, and a broadcast radio station in Africa. The funds from this competition will allow us to support those initial POVs. It'll allow us to continue to work with our attorneys on patent strategy and legal contracts, and continue SDK and data visualization improvements. Collectively, we have almost 100 years of experience. Nakia has prior experience as the CEO of a major media publication. Vidya is the mastermind behind the inaudible detection algorithms. Rob has extensive experience in product development and implementation. And myself, I have prior experience as a leader at Google and a global CTO and chief innovation officer of a multinational tech company. SonicMessenger provides an uninterrupted experience, and we ultimately will democratize audience intelligence and engagement. We are the new, not the me too, and we want to do it here in Chicago.
All right. Few great seconds there. So now let's have the judges hop right in, and we're going to start this round of questioning with Kyla.
Yeah, I was curious, as brands are thinking about the types of product placement that they want to pursue, whether that's some of the examples you gave, like in an interactive retail or in a concert or whatever it may be, how are you kind of helping them narrow in on the venues and avenues that would deliver the most ROI and the types of campaigns that they should try to pursue?
Okay, great. Actually, what we've been doing is we've partnered with some agencies to help sort of with that. So, for example, our the partner that we're working with in Africa, it is a brand and a brand agency that helps businesses sort of figure out where to best leverage engagement, where to best drop commercials and things of that nature. Same thing that's happening with the retailer in South America. So what we're focusing on right now is how do we deliver the technology that actually allows them to do the engagement, and partnering with the experts to help sort of these customers figure out the how and when.
Right, Jeannie.
One, I just realized that was you. Sorry, I heard Terrance's pitch like a year and a half ago, so it's really cool to just see the progression of where you are now. So my question that I have is, walk us a little bit more through the traction and then like the reportings, findings, insights of that POV stage.
All right, so like I said, right now we're totally focused on POV, and one of the things that we learned in the last, I'd say, probably year is everyone we talk to, they love the idea, they love the concept, they love the technology, but they couldn't figure out how to operationalize the product. So that's really what our POVs are about, is defining those use cases and then helping the customer integrate this into their operational model. So then we can use those learnings to move to the next organizations.
And Chris.
Yes, what are your risk factors and what's the biggest potential barrier to your success?
Say the first part again.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button. What are your risk factors and what's the potential biggest barrier to your success?
So I think that the speed of technology is always a risk factor, right? Because you come up with something that's innovative, that's new, and then it's a foot race. So that's always the risk, and we want to get ahead of the foot race. I think the barriers that we've seen, and I just mentioned, really is how do you operationalize something like this? And I think that what we're learning and knowing this from many years of working as a chief innovation officer is it's hard to be the first to do something because you don't have enough examples. And I think we're seeing customers who are interested, but they are hesitant because they're trying to figure out how would this work for them? Who do they need to include in their organization? How do they drive additional revenue? So I think that's been sort of that barrier, but we've been kicking that barrier down by talking to more customers, understanding the concerns, and that's how we're moving forward with the POVs.
Well, great. So this all kind of balances out. Gave you a few extra seconds on your pitch, but thank you, Terrance. Thank you, judges. So now you have the unenviable task of selecting a winner from today's lineup of 5 founders. So while you go and deliberate in the judges' room, I have the pleasure of welcoming my friend and also TechRise alum, Eric Alvarez. Eric is the founder of Grapefruit Health. For those who aren't familiar yet with Grapefruit, because he continues to grow it and he's doing very well. Grapefruit recruits, trains clinical education students to perform interactions with patients. And so think about it as a way to put technology into the healthcare space. And so instead of me talking about it, let's let Eric talk about it. Before I want to finish with this important factor. We're in season 3. Season 1, Eric was our People's Choice winner for our TechRise finale. So Eric, it's always good to see you. Welcome back. And talk, what's going on at Grapefruit?
Yeah, Stephen, great to see you as always. I feel like we run into each other pretty often, but it's always nice. And thanks again, Lucy, for reaching out and giving me this opportunity. And as you mentioned, I actually went back and I looked at the date. It was May 14th of 2021 that we won the original competition out here. We could talk about that here in a second, but Grapefruit's going really well. We've had a successful round, a pre-seed round that we closed up here in May of this year. We are at revenue. We're on track to do about $250,000 this year and hopefully over $1 million next year. We built a sales pipeline of over $10 million. And I think it's because the problem we're solving is just so ripe in healthcare. As Stephen mentioned, we're addressing this massive workforce shortage. We're short by 3.2 million healthcare workers in healthcare today, and everyone's looking for solutions. And at a minimum, because I'm talking to a lot of founders here, I think at a minimum, Grapefruit Health has like an entertaining or a unique approach to the problem. And so I think sometimes in this like kind of startup landscape, having some of that novelty and uniqueness to your solution tends to open more doors, and you get on stage a lot more, I think, too, if you have something that's pretty novel and relatively easy to conceptualize. But yeah, company's going well. We're about to hire our 4th W-2. We're working with another 5 or 6 contractors, and then we're close to about 100 students now on our platform.
Well, congratulations on the growth and the continued traction that you're getting. Think about your founders are always either at an active raise or thinking about raising. And so can you talk about being a Midwest founder? How have you found fundraising here versus fundraising in other parts of the country?
Yeah, it's a great question. I learned so much, and I took advantage of other TechRise benefits like the Fast 25 group, which everyone here should check out. Out there, I would say this. I'll start at the top, or like the broadest strokes, is that the Midwest wants to do a lot more diligence and get to know you a lot better. I think it's a lot less around gut feel, because we, believe it or not, we do actually have one Bay. Our largest check actually came from the Bay. And that was a 3-minute video submission, a 20-minute conversation, and the money was in our $400K check was in our bank account cleared. The whole process was less than 3 weeks. A Midwest investor, that is maybe that's never happened maybe in the Midwest. What you'll see in the Midwest, and honestly, I think it's rightfully so. I think it says a lot about it. And you think about Chicago, what it means to be a Chicagoan too. It's like it's a hardworking kind of grittier culture, and with that, I think comes like some of this more like layers of people wanting to be more sure about putting a lot of money into a business before they really understand it. The Bay is, it's unicorn hunting. It's this wild world where they get gut feels, and there's just the amount of wealth that's sitting there and dry capital, or dry powder as people refer to it. That's like there. It's like it's ready to go, and they release those checks. So I would just say this: it's like if you want to fundraise a lot of money on a high valuation with very little traction, you're not going to do it in Chicago. What you can do in Chicago, though, there's these awesome resources like this one, this organization here, TechRise and P33 and the likes, that give you realistic amounts of investment, a lot of it non-dilutive investment to really kind of test out a hypothesis. When we won, I was working somewhere full-time. I had a slide deck, and it was really an idea. And so I really look at winning that competition as day one of our business. But Chicago, you just need a little bit more proof points. And I think with a little bit of this non-dilutive capital up front, you can get there, versus if you're in the Bay and you have a really killer story and you have this amazing, massive market that no one's ever approached before. Yeah, maybe you can do it with just a deck.
So if the thought is that maybe Midwest investors are maybe a little less risk tolerant, what are some things that you think the investor community can do differently to better support, especially our founders of color, folks like you had a job and a great idea, but you weren't ready to launch in immediately. But we need more people, we need more Erics, we need more Grapefruit Health. So what can the investor community do differently here?
I think, and I want to be as politically correct and kind. I think venture capitalists in general, they want to get, at least on the front end, they want to get to, if they don't like an idea, they want to get the opportunity away from, off their plate. So I heard this elevator pitch and buzzer rang, you're gone. And if they are interested, they're going to take you through a very long diligence process, right? You'll meet with the analysts and then the partners, and there'll be a follow-up, and you'll do the data room, et cetera. On there, what I would encourage the investor side is to say, look, you got to spend a little bit more time with us on the front end. I don't think a quick phone call or, look at a deck type thing is going to be enough for you to gain the conviction you need with a Midwest founder as a Midwest investor. And so if you subscribe to the idea that all VCs sort of kind of work in the same way nationally, which is different than what I just said, right? Because Midwest investors are going to want more diligence and to do those kind of things. But on the very, very front end, if you subscribe to the idea that all VCs kind of review the deal entry processes similarly, I think in the Midwest that has to change. I think we need them to spend just a little bit more time really unpacking the concept more. And I think if they do that, they're going to start saying yes more often, because I think there's just a lot more that's there. And maybe it's us Midwest founders. I'll put some of the onus on us. Maybe we don't tell a concise enough, clean enough, polished enough version of our solution. Or maybe you're early and the investor has some great, if they spend enough time with you, they might be able to ideate on how does your company, yeah, that's a decent idea, but have you thought about this? For example, we're doing all clinical work today. I had an investor say, hey, have you thought about using auto mechanics students to help mechanics in the field when they have Q&As and reading through their books? We've had that for aviation. We've had other industry interest across. That was an idea I never had. And so like, I think if the investors can spend a little more time with us, learn a little bit more about what we're doing, and maybe they can be part of the vision, I think they'll start saying yes a lot more.
Well, just to kind of put you, because you're still founding, you still pitch, I'm sure, pretty often.
Just yesterday.
30-second pitch. What's new at Grapefruit?
Yeah, what's new at Grapefruit Health? So
you stay in practice. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to kind of wrap up on that.
What's the 30-second? What's new at Grapefruit?
So what's new at Grapefruit Health is that I would actually say, like, if you think about maybe I'll just change your question just a little bit and say what's different about Grapefruit from when I pitched it today, because I don't know if there's something new per se to share other than successful fundraising, clients are going live, really fun, great stories on that, a lot of lessons learned. We're constantly pitching, by the way. We're going to be at Health, and we got invited by AARP to be part of their H-Tech Accelerator competition. I was just pitching yesterday at World Business Chicago and Fulton Labs. Thank you. On there. But I think, when Grapefruit Health started in our initial pitches, it was just nursing students interacting with seniors living in isolation and loneliness, hence the name Grapefruit Health. And so now what we're doing, and I think this will happen to all founders, is that you don't just pivot, but you kind of expand or elaborate on your original value proposition and get into all sorts of really fun stuff that leads to like lots of rabbit holes. But if only a few of them are successful, then I think it works out. But congratulations to all the founders here, by the way. I heard just a few of the last pitches. The quality, you guys are much further ahead than I was. I'm really impressed. So that was really great.
Well, now you can say you serve as an exemplar, and you are, people can say, I want to do what Eric at Grapefruit is doing. So, you and I could talk for a long time, but I hear that our judges are back with a decision. We'd love for you to hang on the next couple of minutes just to hear the results. But thank you, Eric, for taking time out and spending a few minutes with us today on TechRise.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and honestly, thanks for everything you all do, because it's meaningful.
Well, we love seeing your success, your continued success. So now, if we will have all the founders and the judges to come back on the screen. All right. So who is going to be announcing, which of our judges is going to be announcing the winner today? Mr. Deutsch. All right. Well, the floor is yours.
Well, first of all, thank you so much to all of our founders that gave excellent pitches. This was not easy. We had a very short amount of time, but it was a good deliberation. So thank you to my fellow judges and for the P33 staff. And also, Stephen, thank you for also being a sponsor of TechRise, but also Lofty Ventures and supporting our founders. So to announce the runners-up first, we actually have a tie on the runners up. I think this is a little bit of an anomaly, but it does happen. I've been told. So congratulations to both Clickvoyant and to SafeRate as our runners up. And I believe, and you guys can elaborate, but I believe this means you get access to the People's Choice voting. So those are our runners up, and then drum roll for our winner. It was Mike with Oasis.
Wow, thank you. Wow. Oh man.
Wow. Michael, do you have a few seconds to congratulations.
Man, this has been a journey, doing everything yourself. This is our actual first time we've got anything from any outside. It's difficult, it's hard, but it just don't quit. And this gave me the motivation you guys don't even know to keep going, because although we're getting a lot of popularity and we haven't gotten any money, we take the investors' money, we invest it. So to be able to put something back in our company means everything. And when we get off, I'm gonna cry, but for now, I'll just be happy. Thank you so much, guys.
Well, thank you. Congratulations, Michael. Congratulations to our two co-runners up. And as Chris was saying, that's important because for our end of the year competition, where the winner will take home the season finale prize, $100,000, the runners up, they get into the playoffs, into the running for that competition. So thank you all. Again, thank you so much to our partners and friends at Origin for your support today. Thanks to all of our founders. Thank you to our funders. Have a wonderful weekend, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.